On July 4th, 2016, Kevin Durant sent shockwaves across the entire sports world. He was leaving the Oklahoma City Thunder to join the Golden State Warriors, the same team that had just won 73 regular season games, breaking the record, but ultimately coming just short of the ultimate prize. To fans, it felt like a glitch in the Matrix, unfair, unbalanced, and completely broken. But to sports front office executives, it was a masterpiece of financial engineering. It was a perfect storm of massive volatility, collective bargaining loopholes, and a high-stakes gamble on a player's ankles that had been quietly maturing for 4 years. How did an already stacked championship contender suddenly find the millions to sign another superstar? To understand, we have to look inside the league's giant, multi-billion-dollar cash register. Think of the NBA as a giant business partnership. Every single time a fan buys a ticket, grabs a stadium hot dog, purchases a jersey, or tunes in on television, that money is funneled into a single pool called basketball-related income, or BRI. Following a massive labor dispute and lockout in 2011, the players and the team owners agreed to split this giant cash register almost exactly 50-50. The players' half of that register is what dictates the boundaries of what teams are allowed to spend. This spending boundary is what we call the salary cap. The math behind your favorite team's spending limit actually boils down to a single formula. In plain English, the league takes roughly 45% of that projected cash register, subtracts player benefits like health insurance and post-career pensions, and divides the remaining pile among the 30 teams. But here's the catch. Unlike the NFL's hard cap, which is a rigid ceiling, where if you run out of money you are completely cut off, the NBA uses a soft cap. It is a glass ceiling with a series of hidden trap doors. Teams are allowed to exceed the limit to keep their own players using mechanisms like bird rights. But in the summer of 2016, a massive, unexpected tidal wave of cash completely shattered the ceiling altogether. The NBA signed a historic 9-year, $24 billion national television contract with ESPN and Turner Broadcasting. It nearly tripled the league's television revenue overnight, jumping from $930 million to a massive $2.6 billion per year. National television rights fees are classified as shared revenue, so this money went straight into the cash register. Under the current bargaining agreement, the salary cap was forced to make an unprecedented leap, exploding from $70 million in the 2015-2016 season to over $94 million in the 2016-2017 season. That single-season jump was larger than the cap's entire growth over the previous decade combined. The league offices saw this economic shock coming. They approached the players' union with a proposal called cap smoothing. Think of the television windfall like a giant bucket of water. Instead of spilling it all on the floor at once, the league wanted to let it drip slowly out of a pipe, letting the salary cap rise gradually over several years. The union rejected the idea. Led by Executive Director Michelle Roberts, they argued that smoothing would artificially suppress the immediate value of its star players. This was the moment that opened the floodgates. Overnight, every single team in the league suddenly had a free max contract slot open up at the exact same moment. Under normal circumstances, championship contenders are usually capped out and cannot sign free agent superstars. But the cap spike acted as an equalizer, giving even a historic superpower like the Warriors the room to add an expensive, maximum salary player. But the cap spike was only half the puzzle. The Golden State Warriors possessed a secret weapon, the single most underpriced asset in the history of sports, Steph Curry's contract. Early in his career, Curry was a massive, high-risk liability. Chronic right ankle sprains forced him to miss a vast majority of games during the 2011-2012 season as he underwent 2 major reconstructive surgeries. Fearing his career might be cut short, the Warriors took a calculated risk, offering Curry a highly conservative 4-year, $44 million contract extension in 2012. It turned out to be the greatest stroke of luck in franchise history. Over the next 4 years, Curry's ankles healed, his production exploded, and he captured consecutive regular season MVP awards. Yet he was locked in, making just $11 million a year. This massive discount gave the Warriors loads of flexibility. It allowed them to lock in Klay Thompson and Draymond Green early. In fact, Draymond Green even agreed to sign for $3 million discount on his own extension specifically to preserve future cap space to chase KD. When free agency began in July of 2016, the math problem landed on general manager Bob Myers' desk. Durant's maximum salary required a massive $26.54 million opening under the new $94.14 million cap. First, they had to dump starting center Andrew Bogut's roughly $11 million contract. Next, they let starting forward Harrison Barnes walk, clearing more than $9 million, renounced backup center Festus Ezeli, clearing another $5 million, and renounced their remaining veteran free agents to clear another $12 million. When all the moving and shaking was finished, the Warriors had allocated about $67 million in total salary cap hits, leaving them with a little more than $27 million in raw, usable cap space. Durant's first-year salary fit him under the cap, with just enough breathing room to spare. While the Warriors successfully built their super team, the rest of the league descended into hyperinflationary chaos. Every team was required by league rules to spend at least 90% of their salary cap. This forced general managers to throw millions of dollars at average role players. When league revenues normalized and the salary cap leveled off, teams were locked into long-term contracts for underperforming players, triggering a severe credit crunch across the league. The Warriors went on to win 2 straight championships and were poised for a three-peat if it were not for injuries. The league had saw enough. In the 2023 collective bargaining agreement, the league and the players' union agreed to mandatory cap smoothing. Under this new law, the salary cap can only increase by a maximum of 10% in any single season, regardless of how much television money floods in. They also introduced the second apron, a spending threshold that strips high-spending teams of their draft picks, trading flexibility, and exceptions. The financial window that allowed the Kevin Durant Warriors to organically assemble had been welded shut. The 2016 Golden State Warriors were more than just an unbelievable collection of basketball talent. They were a perfect alignment of economic anomalies. It took a lockout to establish a volatile cap formula, a historic television deal to flood the league with cash, a players' union to reject cap smoothing, and a recurring ankle injury to secure Steph Curry at half his market value. It was a perfect storm that changed the game forever, leaving behind a dynasty on the court and a completely rewritten rulebook in the front office. The NBA and its fans across the world will remember the legacy left behind by this historic Warriors team for years to come. Some even argue that this team may be the greatest pool of talent ever assembled, and they certainly have the accolades to back it up. With the talent in the league exponentially getting better and star players constantly moving around the league, the question remains, will we ever see a team as dominant as the 2016-2017 Golden State Warriors? If you liked that video and want to learn more about the financial and economic systems that power the sports we have grown to love, let me know your thoughts in the comments section and give me suggestions for other interesting sports stories like this that you want to hear.